Hi everybody, I am so excited for today's video because it's another collab with Pdawg Illustrations here on YouTube. Please make sure to watch her video as well and subscribe while you're there. But what we're pretty much doing is we're going to make two artist trading cards, one of them representing the other person and the other one that is a recreation of the other's piece in our own style. So I started pretty much with just brainstorming for the piece that's meant to represent Peyton first. Made thumbnail sketches, brainstormed, blah blah blah. But yeah, I just tried to capture her positivity and her kindness. Like, her comments always make my day and they're just so uplifting and encouraging. Like, she's such an incredible person. And you know, when I was brainstorming, all I could think was positive things. From her beautiful heart to her genuine friendship to her art. I mean, her art, she's made such a big improvement in such a short time. Like, this much visible improvement in such a short time really speaks to her dedication and her hard work. She mainly works in gouache and interprets pictures from Pinterest in her own style, but she also experiments with different mediums and subjects, which I think is so inspiring, to be honest. So from watercolors to digital art to gouache to alcohol markers to even clay. Like, she posts studio vlogs, she has a podcast studio series, you know, she posts videos of making digital art and gouache paintings, and she's very consistent on top of that. So check out her video. I'm so excited to see what she comes up with, and while you're there, make sure that you subscribe to her channel. Like, she really deserves it. She's just such a kind soul, so give her some support. And I'm just going to jump back to the video here. I pretty much just printed the thumbnail sketches and transferred them over to these little pieces of paper, watercolor paper, and I started inking them. This one is the one that's meant to represent Peyton. So in her videos, I've seen her paint koi fish and sunflowers quite frequently, and that was one of the reasons why I definitely wanted to incorporate sunflowers and koi fish. But also, apparently the color of friendship is yellow, so when I saw that, I was like, okay, perfect, sunflowers work incredible. And then I tried to incorporate a watch and a butterfly to kind of represent growth, once again kind of touching upon the fact that, you know, she spends so much time perfecting her craft, and she spends so much time trying to improve her art. And she's definitely grown, so the butterfly is just meant to symbolize that growth. And a crescent moon also represents growth, so I kind of added that little detail to the watch later on, as you will see. And her profile picture is blue and like brown and yellow, like those types of colors. So I tried to make sure that I tried to use those colors mainly. I don't know, I just hope that she likes it. This was my first time drawing koi fish. The proportions are definitely different than betta fish, which is what I'm used to drawing. So it was quite interesting to find a good reference photo and trying to make sure that you could tell it was a koi fish pretty much. And I also decided to kind of section this video in terms of, you know, brainstorming, thumbnails, inking, and then painting, instead of going like piece 1 and then piece 2, because I think that kind of keeps the excitement a little bit more and keeps, you know, everybody looking forward to the final piece. I don't know if my pens were kind of drying out, but it was kind of difficult to ink this, or it could also just be that the surface is quite small. So yeah, I just decided to do a lot of the inking with this blue brush pen instead. A brush pen is actually a really good alternative to just having multiple ink pens, because then you can just get a lot of line variations with just a singular pen. Speaking of, I think in the future I might do a video of just talking about my supplies, like the supplies that I use and the supplies that I recommend. But yeah, and this is the piece that I kind of interpreted in my own style. Peyton provided a lot of, like, we provided each other a lot of photos to choose from, and this is the photo that I chose. To be honest, it was a tough decision to make, like to choose a piece among all of the wonderful pieces that she has sent me. But I think the reason why I went with this one is because the moment I saw it, for some reason I just thought of the hair being water. I don't know what it was, it's just I saw it and I was just like, wouldn't it be interesting if the hair was just water? And I'm sure it's not like an original idea, you know, water hair, it's probably been done before, but the moment that kind of came to my mind, like just inspiration hitting me, I was like, okay, I'll go with this one, and then I will add more to it to kind of represent more of my style. So I stared at it a little bit, you know, I drew the person on my laptop. It was fairly easy because I just used a symmetrical button, to be honest. Like, I used the symmetrical thing, so you pretty much just draw one side of the face and then the other side pretty much just automatically draws itself. But yeah, I just stared at it and I was like, what can I add for this to look like it's a piece from me? And I remembered that I use a lot of hands as symbolism in my art pieces, strings and hands. So I decided, you know what, I'll add those here, which is exactly what I did. And I hope it kind of looks like something, like when you look at it, you can tell that it's done in my style. I hope. And I hope that I did Peyton's piece justice. I mean, it is definitely a little stressful not wanting to ruin the other person's piece, but it also kind of helped because I didn't really have to do thumbnail sketches or a lot of brainstorming because I already had a base, like a foundation to work with. And this is how the inked pieces turned out. Now we're going to jump into the painting step. I'm going to start painting the first piece, and like I said, Peyton usually, if you look at her profile picture, there's like a bit of blue, brown, and in her videos there's quite a bit of yellow, so I kind of wanted to incorporate those colors into this piece as well. And as I mentioned, yellow is the color of friendship, and her friendship is very valuable to me, and I'm glad that I was able to kind of bring a bit of those little elements, a bit of those symbols into this piece. I'm just so excited to take a picture of these pieces and send an email to Peyton. Obviously I'll probably send it after the video is posted because I don't want to ruin the surprise, but yeah, I'm just also so excited to see what she came up with and which piece she chose to interpret in her own style, and like what she, like for this card we're meant to, you know, draw the things that represent the other person. Like this card is meant to represent the other person, pretty much. It's meant to symbolize that person. So I'm curious as to what she came up with, and if you're just as curious as me, do check out her video. I know, even without seeing it, that it's going to be incredible and that she will not disappoint. So please check it out and do subscribe. I sound like a broken record at this point, but yeah, I'm just proud of her. I'm proud of her achievements and just happy for her, you know, so do support her. And yeah, I'm just painting the watch in the video. Like I said, I just kind of wanted to demonstrate the amount of time she spends improving, because improvement and growth does take time. At first, I thought of a watch or a clock, If you saw the thumbnail sketches, like there were some where I kind of did half a clock, half a sunflower, but I settled with this one because I think it kind of fits the overall feeling that I wanted to convey. Oh, also sorry for the lighting in the video where like it constantly changes. I think it changed a lot in the inking part, but it was a weirdly sunny but also cloudy day. It was about to rain, so the clouds kind of shifted and then the sun came out and then the clouds shifted again. It was weird, and I used natural lighting, so the lighting is a little bit weird, but I hope that's okay. But yeah, this was my first time painting koi fish and it was fun, and it's an underwater scene. And when I showed this piece to others, they were just like, oh, is this an underwater scene or is it like the sky? What is it? And you know what? It's up to your interpretation. To me, it's both. It's both underwater and the sky, you know? Art can be whatever. A lot of my art is just symbolic. A lot of it probably doesn't make sense at the surface level until you dig deep. So I think this was a perfect coincidence. It was a perfect accident that worked well. And I'm not just using gouache to add the light rays. I kind of felt a little bit guilty covering up a little bit of the painting because it took me a while, right? And it takes effort, so I was just like, oh, I don't want to cover too much of this. But yeah, and I'm just adding shine to the top of the water. And then I moved on to painting the second piece. The pieces turned out cute, I'm not going to lie, because I think they're very small. That small size kind of contributed to it, where, you know, when I removed the tape, I looked at it and I was just like, these are adorable, you know, and I kind of want to do more of these pieces. Maybe I can do pieces like this during Inktober, because I probably won't have time because of school to do fully finished pieces, but these like small pieces were good because the inking and the painting in total didn't take as long as it would take me to finish a larger piece. And for the colors, I pretty much just used colors that were left over on my palette. That's why a lot of the times my palette kind of looks very dirty. It's just watercolor paints that I can reuse another time. So I don't really clean my palette that frequently. But yeah, I really recently started enjoying using this dark blue, like navy color in my pieces. And recently I've actually started incorporating more color to even stylized pieces. So, you know, in my sketchbooks I do use a lot of color, but for symbolic pieces, like the pieces that are done in my style, I used to not use as much. But recently I have been using more color and I don't know, I kind of like it, so I think I might incorporate more color into my own style moving forward, which I already am doing, except that I'm not really recording the process of it or, you know, recording videos of it. What's interesting about this piece is that as I painted and I was adding like the shading, I kind of noticed that the hair could also it kind of looks like a hijab, and as a hijabi, you know, I was like, maybe I could use this concept in the future for one of my future pieces. So who knows? Also, like the lotus flowers kind of represent overcoming struggles. At least that's what Google said, so blame Google if that's wrong. But yeah, so just, you know, the things that are happening recently, I think it's kind of an interesting concept that I could explore more in the future. So thank you, Peyton, for the inspiration with the piece. Like, thank you. I'm so excited for the piece if I go forward with it. Well, another little thing, I made the eyes open at first, and then I looked at her photo, her painting, and the eyes were closed, so I was like, okay. And then I changed that in the sketch, like, okay, we're going to stick as closely to the original as possible while still preserving my own style. So this is how it turned out. Thank you so much, Peyton, for the collaboration. I can't wait for you to see these pieces, and I can't wait to see what you came up with. Oh, real quick, the Q&A video will be next week along with the giveaway announcement, so stick around if you're interested. But this is how the final pieces turned out in a close-up shot. I think they turned out okay. I hope you also enjoyed it, and thank you for watching. Please take care.